Devastation.
Insecticons!
Plasma energy also detected.
It seems our theory may have been correct, Soundwave.
But plasma energy is unstable. No Cybertronian has been able to tame it since the Golden Age.
Then stand back, Starscream, and watch me tame it as I have tamed you.
Oh, one of these days, Megatron.
Constructicons! Use the kinetic shields to build me a perimeter.
And where will you be, Lord Megatron?
We have been given a gift beneath the surface, and I intend to use it.
Megatron and his Decepticons are already here. By the Matrix.
On the plus side, I think we finally get to bust some Deceptichops.
The humans are evacuated and our mission is clear. Save the city and stop Megatron. Autobots, I am all right. We will rendezvous later.
Hey everybody, so welcome to Transformers.
What in the world is all of this? Wheeljack? Come in. Is this Cybertronian technology?
I think so, Optimus. They're creating hurricane-force winds like they're trying to sweep the city clear.
Whatever their purpose, there is more to the situation than meets the eye.
So, first thing, boy is this Transformers. So this is Platinum's game Transformers Devastation, and as soon as we begin, hey, there's a collectible we can shoot. There are a whole bunch of those sorts of things, plus the log I picked up earlier. There are about 1 billion things you can pick up. And hey, we get a combat already. Yeah, since we can't blow up the action figures, the regular goons are these value pack Decepticons. So, the gameplay of Transformers Devastation is basically, as from what I've heard, it's basically Bayonetta. You can there's a dodge button, you can perfect dodge to get focus time, or, well, I guess which time it was in that Bayo. And when you finish a combo, you can hit them like the truck that you are. This game mainly draws from Generation 1 Transformers, the cartoon version. And the writing is very on point, as you've probably notice already. The game also has most of the original cartoon series voice actors that are still alive. With Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, Frank Welker as Megatron and Soundwave, though those are the only two he does. Frank Welker can't do, the dozen or so voices that he did in the original series. One of the things about Transformers Devastation that sets it apart from some other Platinum entries is that gunplay is actually a fair bit more useful and important than in some of their other entries. And the thing that really allows that is that weapons have limited ammunition that are restored by picking up energon cubes. And also, there's a loot system. Yeah, because your Transformers are action figures, naturally there are a whole bunch of accessories you can pick up for them. Yep, Optimus Prime also uses the axe he had in the pilot of the original cartoon series, and he is the only character who can use axe weapons.
Hey, I found something. Follow me.
Yeah, holding down the right bumper turns you into a vehicle, but tapping it is what you use to dodge. So, in essence, the right bumper is your transform and roll out button.
Optimus, look! Some sort of cache.
Ground pounding, by the way, can also be used on enemies. Yeah, there are a bunch of little secrets like that to find. We can use credits that we pick up, you know, which are those little red things, to buy extra moves and abilities like you can in... It's the currency that you use to buy special junk. That kind of thing exists in all Platinum games.
If I stay focused, I think I can get through.
Yeah, tutorial stuff. The thing about Transformers Devastation is that it was considered a great deal of an improvement over Platinum's previous licensed title, which was The Legend of Korra. And the reason for that, I think in part, is the fact that in Legend of Korra you don't start with enough of your bread and butter abilities to make the game feel good right from the start, whereas in Transformers Devastation it immediately feels good. Okay, so what's in here? Colossal Titan?
Devastator.
Well, this is a bit of a doozy for a first boss. But then again, these are the guys who made Revengeance, so... Giant first bosses aren't exactly new. Okay, all Autobots have a super attack, and Optimus Prime's is the Power Geyser. No, seriously, that's actually what it's called. Yeah, don't expect miracles from my gameplay here. I had to come back to this after a little over 2 weeks of basically no video games at all other than East. So I had to do a little bit of relearning. I actually managed to stun Devastator. But I'm going to need to shape up. That isn't even the real boss fight with him.
Devastator, you're needed elsewhere. The others can finish the Autobots.
Another time, Autobots.
Ready, ready, ready!
Normally you get to pick who you play as at any given point in the game. But in the tutorial segment of the first chapter, the game auto-switches between Autobots. So, now we're playing as Bumblebee.
Enemies with distance weapons.
There are some play differences between the various Autobots. However, they're not too huge, with one exception. Grimlock has quite a few differences in playstyle from the other characters. By the way, in the previous fight you probably noticed a stat go up. Yes, there is experience in this game. The thing is, experience is actually shared across all of your Transformers, so you don't actually have to spread your experience among your various Autobots in order to keep them pace. You can just choose whoever you want and they'll already be up to spec. And that's a Kremzik, another of the collectibles. It only appeared in one episode of the cartoon, but... And I have a feeling they're the kind of things that people wanted to get rid of rather than keep. And there's Bumblebee's ever-present courage. All of the stats in this game are based off of the stats that were on the back of the Transformers action figure toy packaging.
We'll have to destroy that wall!
There are a whole bunch of them which I have already put in the opening post of the thread. Man, this is not looking good. Ah well. Bumblebee takes a little bit to get used to because he is the weakest in melee combat. And just making sure I didn't miss anything.
This wind current is too strong to pass.
No, definitely not. The first chapter is actually the biggest and the longest by a long shot. And there's the third type of collectible, the Decepticon flag.
What is the meaning of this?
Optimus, come to save the day, I presume?
I am here to stop you from destroying the city.
Stop me? Oh, Prime! You have no idea what you're really up against, do you? Who is really behind this?
This is our home now, Megatron. We should respect it.
No matter, Prime. I have no interest in destroying Earth. But I'm not opposed to making a few, shall we say, improvements?
Bumblebee, you've got to
Okay, our
break through
second boss
Megatron's
is
shield.
Megatron. This is mainly a tutorial for rush attacks. They're going to be fairly important throughout the entire game. However, Megatron is actually fairly dangerous. It's just that he spends a lot of his time defending than attacking, and you should really thank your stars for that. By the way, the combo list for pretty much every character is huge, and it differs by weapon type. And that was Bumblebee's Grenade Super. You see, that's what happens when Megatron hits you. It's not pretty. But we only needed to reduce him to half health anyway.
What in Cybertron's name? Autobots, Megatron is headed for that steel tower. Move out. Keep moving. I am watching our backs.
Follow me!
So now we are playing as Sideswipe, who is still voiced by Michael Bell. Who is quite prolific across 80s cartoons. He played Duke in G.I. Joe. And as for video game work, he played Darkfact in the Turbo version of East 1 and 2, and he also played The Fear in Metal Gear Solid 3 and Julius Caesar in Shadow of Rome. And there's the jump booster common to pretty much every 3D action game of any kind. Well, except maybe Dark Souls. Thank you. And I'll be taking this. Yeah, even though this is a more linear action game, it's not really open world, there's still a lot of useful stuff to find through exploration. So do forgive me if I milk the game for credits and other junk, because there are a bunch of useful moves that I want to buy pretty straight off. While I have most of the stuff I'm actually going to need throughout the game right from the start, there are just things that make the game just a little bit easier on me. Also, every new enemy type gets this kind of introduction.
No need to hold back.
Okay, every Autobot also has a unique special action, which is done by pressing the left bumper. Sideswipes is a flash step that takes him much closer to an enemy pretty much instantly. Bumblebee's is an evasion slide that resets his combo, which allows him some insane combo capability.
Sideswipe, now!
And Optimus Prime's special ability is to attack with his trailer. I'll be showing off Wheeljack's and Grimlock's special actions once I play with them. And that was Sideswipe's Overdrive. His shoulder cannon has by far the longest range of any super move, but also the lowest area of effect.
The orange dot on your map marks your destination. Reach it to complete your mission.
Now, just take a quick look around. No, get... Thank you. Okay, so those green circles that you see on the map, those are special side missions. I'm going to be doing a little bit of map checking while I'm in the city because side missions can give some pretty large rewards.
Looks like Energon, smells like Energon. Teletran 1, analyze.
Analysis complete. It appears to be a volatile form of energy.
Yeah, red energon is the explosive barrel of the Transformers world. At least in this version of Transformers. By the way, you don't get to use weapons you pick up as soon as you grab them in this game. You have to take them back to Autobot headquarters. And we won't really be seeing that until near the end of this video.
Megatron's serious.
So let's talk a little bit about Transformers. One of the things about Transformers is that for some reason it has managed to avoid the reputation of absolute silliness that a bunch of other 80s toy cartoons did. Such as, say, He-Man or G.I. Joe. Part of that may have been due to the fact that, first off, it had really good voice acting, second, a decent premise, and third, Transformers never really had PSAs. There were a few PSAs filmed for Transformers. Well, animated for Transformers, I guess. However, those were never aired and only really ended up as extras on the discs of other Transformers games. However, even though Transformers managed to avoid the reputation of being silly, it was still a deeply silly cartoon. Or at least could be at times. By the way, I tried to back out of this side mission because Sideswipe right now is not the best person for the job. But I decided to give it a shot anyway. The reason he's not the best person for the job is that the only weapon he has that can hit these things worth a damn is his flamethrower. And that has problems too because it's very short-ranged. But it turns out it actually has just enough to tag all of the targets if you double jump. No bonus for time, but that's okay. I need gear, and gear needs me. I guess another thing that preserved the reputation of Transformers was that the comics were actually a bit less silly than the actual animated series was.
Here's my retort!
Even though it did have its own certain moments, like Optimus Prime allowing himself to be killed in one of his many deaths because he actually lost a game to Megatron. But one of the strange things about the series is that even though I'm sure I watch Transformers religiously, and I think that even episodes from multiple series, I could not for the life of me remember a single plot from any of the episodes without a reminder. All I could really remember was the general vague outline of the series. However, I remembered enough about it to know that this is very much a very strong attempt to basically make a playable episode of the cartoon show. Along with the fact that this is, and one of the parts of that is that this is not a very long game. And one of the problems with it not being a very long game is that it has a very nasty Steam price. I mean, it's more than worth it for the Steam sale price I paid, but $50 is a bit much for a licensed title that isn't really one of Platinum's core efforts. Yeah, I don't really need to destroy these things, but might as well. I'm not gonna turn down money.
Never stood a chance.
That being said, by the way, I think this might actually be one of Platinum's second most accessible game behind Okami. Yeah, I consider Clover Games to be part of Platinum's catalog because they had a lot of the same people involved. Because while it can be punishing, it's also in some ways more forgiving because healing items and other similar restoratives or boosts are in much more generous supply.
Can you hear it, Optimus? It's calling out to those Insecticons, somehow directing them. My chariot awaits, Optimus, but I cannot have you following me this time.
Sideswipe! Don't let him escape!
Already on it.
So, even though the boss fights can be Platinum nasty, it's a lot easier to recover from, well, mistakes. You don't get to ride a Constructicon. Of course, one of the deviations from Generation 1 is that they use Tank Megatron instead of Gun Megatron. By the way, there's no actual benefit to depleting all of Megatron's hit points here. However, I did, in this playthrough, actually discover a rather unfortunate glitch. The thing about this chase sequence is that you don't have to beat Megatron to wherever he's going, you just have to chase him. And if you get too far away from Megatron, you failed the segment. However, this includes getting too far ahead of Megatron. So if you get ahead... So, it's based entirely on distance. And even if there's no way you could... not, you know, just wait for Megatron to do whatever. If you get too far away, by being too far ahead, you fail like this. I had never seen that happen before, so that's why I kept it in the recording.
Already on it.
By the way, you probably noticed that there's still a little bit to go in this video, but that's because I wanted to introduce all of the really essential stuff. I'm still gonna knock out that loser Constructicon, though. They don't deserve dignity. Now, there is another race later where there is a benefit to depleting your opponent's hit points, but we'll take a look at that once we get there.
Here. It will happen here. Megatron!
Okay, this is our second fight with Megatron.
Less talk, robot. More dying.
And Sideswipe must be hopelessly bloodthirsty if he thinks a fight with Megatron is a good time. Now, I do pretty well here, but this is a fight that can go very badly very quickly, because if Megatron manages to combo you with some of his moves, he can very easily do 3/4 of your life in one go. And this fight can be a very nasty stumbling block for new players, even on normal difficulty.
My destiny awaits below. As for you, I just engaged the security system. Good luck getting in, Prime.
Caltran 1, analyze.
It's a ship of unknown origins, buried beneath the city.
How do I shut down the security system?
It appears there is a dual-layer security protocol in place. You'll first need to disable 3 sub-generators. Once disabled, the primary generator will be vulnerable.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
And I'll just be taking that.
Uplink activated.
Okay, so we've made it to headquarters, so we can see what accessories we've picked up for our action figures. Yeah, I actually only owned one Transformers action figure when I was a kid, and I was fairly sure it was a Constructicon. By the way, elemental stuff does matter for status effects that weapons can inflict on enemies. And there are also non-elemental weapons, which are a bit stronger. So, the things you can do with weapons are equip them, and you can also synthesize them, which is combining them to make them stronger. A weapon's rank determines what its maximum level can be. We can also switch characters now, but we only have 3 available: Optimus Prime, Sideswipe, and Bumblebee. And for the rest of Chapter 1, I'm gonna be Bumblebee. Your robots can have up to 4 different weapons, though one of them has to be melee. A character's equipment options depends on who it is. Okay, so tech. But first we're going to buy a couple of moves. By the way, random weapons are easy to get, but specific weapons are very expensive. The moves I'm going to buy are still safe, which basically extends our perfect dodge window. The second is parry, which basically gives us the Metal Gear Revengeance parry. No parry counter, though. Yeah. So tech basically allows us to invest credits into a random accessory. Normally, I'm not a fan of random crafting in games. However, considering that our inventor is Wheeljack, I'm willing to give it a pass. The crafting is a timing minigame, and where you land it affects the quality of what you get. So, that's it for now, and next time I will be continuing Transformers Devastation with Bumblebee. See you then!